Hello again. Here we are getting ready for our first assignment for class, and I'm going to walk you through on video here. So I have the assignment pulled up, and in this case we are actually going to enter data into SPSS instead of downloading a data set. Now it gets a little laborious to enter all the data, so I've gone ahead and done that. Let me point out one thing. There's a participant column here. That's not actually a variable in the study. That's just the participant number to keep count. So keep that in mind when you're listing the variables for the study and answer your question. But the variables we do have are group, either psychoanalysis or cognitive behavioral therapy, number of fights, and stress level. So we have those variables as our set, and let's see what we want to do with them. We want to create frequency tables and central tendency and variability for fights and stress variables as a whole and for each individual group. Okay, let's start off with as a whole. That's exactly what we did with the data for the discussion question. So we go to descriptive statistics and frequencies, and we're interested in fights and stress. We want to get the mean, the median, the mode. We want to get our standard deviation and variance. We'll click continue. On charts, we want our histogram with the normal curve. We'll click continue. Click OK. And here's our statistics, our mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance for our fights and stress variable. Here's our frequency table for fights, our frequency table for stress. And here's a histogram for fights. And here's a histogram for stress. That looks interesting. So there are our frequencies and our tables and our graphs for everybody as a whole. Now it asks for us to do it separately for the two groups. There's actually at least 3 different ways you can do this. So I'm going to show you one way that it can be done. We're going to go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Explore. So here we've got our fights group and our stress group. And then our factor list, we're going to put group. And so factor means what do we want to split it up by? And so we want to split these up by group. Now we're just going to, this default is going to be on both. I'm going to move it just to statistics. Plots will give you some stem and leaf plots and other things that aren't going to be as interesting for us now. But we want statistics, and it's going to give us our descriptive statistics. Continue. I'm going to click OK. And what this is going to give us is actually some tables that are split into parts. So here's our fights variable, and here's information about the fights variable just for the CBT group and just for the psychoanalysis group. So here's the mean just for the CBT group, the mean just for the psychoanalysis group, standard deviation just for the CBT, etc. And then we'll come down here, and here's our stress group, and we have the same thing, separate descriptive statistics for the CBT group and the psychoanalysis group. So let's go back to our question. So then we want to save the data file and save the output file. I'm going to do that and upload it for you, just like we did for the discussion question. And then you're going to answer these variables. List the variables and their scale of measurement. Here's what the study is looking at. What are the dependent and independent variables? What do the frequency distributions look like? What are the frequencies and percentages of different scores? Mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and variance for fights and stress levels for everyone, and then for the groups separately. And then what can we conclude? So you're going to write all of that up in a Word document and submit it to me, and I look forward to seeing your results. Let me know if you have any questions.